Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Philip Coleman. Lynn Brooks is on assignment. The Crimson Tide's national championship victory brings a lot of positive attention to the University of Alabama, but it can also lead to positive things for the entire city of Tuscaloosa. WVUA reporter Beth Harrison has more in tonight's top story.
T-shirts, hats, trophies, the signs of a national championship are everywhere, and Tuscaloosa Mayor Walt Maddox is well aware of it.
I've jokingly referred to it as Sabanomics, but the truth is there definitely is an economic boon to the success of the football program.
But how does this boom affect the Druid City?
The university has stated it helps with their recruitment in terms of student enrollment. It clearly helps us in terms of our economic development recruitment.
Susan West with Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports Commission shares just how much the football program helps the city economically.
Each football game is somewhere between 15 and 20 million, we think, on the city. So that's more revenue that goes back to our schools, goes back to better roads, better services, better parks.
Mayor Maddox says one example of the relationship between the Crimson Tide and the city is this playground.
I thought it was very telling about a month ago when Ms. Saban and Coach Saban dedicated the new park on the riverfront. And one of the things that made me very proud is when the Sabans talked about how the growth and positive growth of Tuscaloosa helps them in their recruitment. See, we're linked together in so many different ways.
And Susan West says Tuscaloosa residents can help keep the ball rolling.
I think we're on the verge or on the beginning of just telling the story, so we need to do a better job of telling the story. But it's a great story, and it looks like it's only getting better. Let's start talking about number 16.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Mary Beth Harrison, WVUA News.
And Mayor Maddox and Susan West both say that next on the agenda is to celebrate the big win. However, that date will be determined by the university. And there has certainly been no shortage of congratulations going out to the Crimson Tide. Today, the university honored Coach Nick Saban, his staff, and players with celebrating achievement. As you can hear, at 9, noon, and 3 p.m., Denny Chimes rang out with a song commissioned by U of A President Dr. Judy Bonner to celebrate the great things done at the University of Alabama. And the chimes will ring out congratulations again at 6 and 8 p.m. And speaking of celebrating the Tide, Bama fans will soon have a chance to see the Crystal Coaches Trophy in person. During this weekend, there will be 2 opportunities to take a free photograph with the actual Crystal Trophy that the Crimson Tide won at the BCS National Championship. On Friday, the trophy will be at the Walmart on Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. A charter bus carrying the University of Alabama cheerleaders was involved in a wreck on their way back home from Miami. Authorities say the crash happened just after 10 o'clock last night in Montgomery. The bus was traveling on Western Boulevard on Interstate 65. Police say this accident involved a cheerleaders' bus, a car, and a pickup truck. Authorities say none of the cheerleaders were injured, but a passenger in the pickup truck did sustain life-threatening injuries. Officials say they are listed now in stable condition. And turning now to your weather, we could be in for a lot of rain during the next few days, and that could lead to some problems. Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott joins us now with the latest. Hello, Richard.
Hey, Philip, good Wednesday evening to you. A little bit of rain out there right now, but most of the activity along I-20 points south pretty light. The heavier rain over northwest Alabama, portion of northern Lamar County, Marion and Winston and Coleman counties picking up quite a bit of rain today. Even Walker County getting close to 1 to 2 inches of rain at the bucket across parts of northwest Alabama. And the rain we dealt with today, pretty light across much of the state. We're watching more rain develop west of us. That's going to arrive as we go into the daytime hours on Thursday. So here's tonight's forecast. Temperatures stay pretty steady tonight, around 60, I think at 7 and 10 o'clock tonight, around 60. Showers are going to be possible through tonight. Nothing too terribly heavy tonight, but when will that heavy rain arrive? And is there a threat for flooding across our area? Your home team forecast is coming up, so stay with us.
All right, thanks, Richard. WVUA is covering Tuscaloosa County, where new economic opportunities will be taking center stage for county leaders. Probate judge and chairman of the county commission, Hardy McCullum, told WVUA that Mercedes' expansion is helping to attract new businesses like suppliers. And McCullum told us that the national championship will be a plus when it comes to making the area more attractive to future businesses. The commission is also looking into helping the community of Holt continue its efforts to recover from the April 27, 2011 tornado.
One of our businesses is coming back. They've already broken ground. We're looking for we hope additional businesses to come into the community. We're working with infrastructure that would facilitate additional housing to come into the community, and so we're receiving a little bit of a grant money, seed money, to help kickstart some of that activity.
And McCullum also says they are also looking at how to prepare for the rising cost of health care for county employees. He anticipates an 8 to 9% increase this year, and he says that the revenues are not increasing at that same rate. On your home team crime watch, 4 men arrested after a high-speed chase on Interstate 59. Now they are behind bars facing multiple charges. According to Tuscaloosa County authorities, Derek Washington Jr., Brandon Bridges, Tavares Hinkle, and Shaquille Creighton have been charged in connection with a burglary committed in the 14,000 block of Milldale Road. Officials say the chase started around noon Tuesday after a traffic stop. Authorities say the suspects eventually crossed the median, reaching speeds of 100 miles per hour, and at one point hit a Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's vehicle. The Lakeview Police, Vance Police, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, and Alabama State Troopers assisted with this pursuit. The charges range from burglary, reckless endangerment, to possession of drugs. Now, on your health watch, some good news and bad news regarding the flu. According to the Centers for Disease Control, 41 states are reporting widespread flu cases, including the state of Alabama, but there is some good news here in West Alabama. According to Dr. Perry Lovely at Med Center North, we are seeing a decline in flu patients locally. However, he advises us to still take precautions like washing your hands, covering your mouth when you cough, and covering up food that is out. Dr. Lovely also says a lot of this decline is because of it being this time of the year.
This is the time of year when the flu season starts to wane a little bit, where we start to see some of the post-flu complications. A lot of patients who have had flu respiratory illnesses will come in now with sinusitis or bronchitis or ear infections after having some of the congestion that may go along with the flu virus. So we see some previous flu patients coming back in with some of these secondary type of illnesses. But for the flu in general, we're certainly seeing less numbers.
And Dr. Lovely also says that it's still not too late to get your flu shot, and doctors say it takes about 2 weeks for a flu shot to take full effect. President Obama's anti-gun violence task force is getting to work trying to figure out recommendations to prevent another mass shooting. His Vice President Joe Biden is heading up this task force. Meetings took place today in Washington. Sandra Endo has more.
Dozens of lives lost and grief at makeshift memorials. Preventing mass shootings is the enormous job the presidential task force is trying to tackle.
I want to make it clear that we are not going to get caught up in the notion unless we can do everything, we're going to do nothing. It's critically important we act.
Vice President Joe Biden is heading up the gun violence task force, which is expected to meet over the next few days. Gun safety, victims advocacy, and gun ownership groups are joining in the national conversation to come up with recommendations to prevent gun violence. Caving to criticism for declining the initial meeting invitation, Walmart said Wednesday it would participate. The company said, "We underestimated the expectation to attend the meeting on Thursday in person, so we are sending an appropriate representative to participate." Walmart sells many of the types of firearms used in recent mass shootings. Those closely affected by these senseless acts have their own solution to reduce the gun violence.
Let me say this. More guns are not the answer. Freedom is not a handgun on the hip of every teacher, and security should not mean a guard posted outside every classroom.
40% of gun sales every year in this country go unchecked. That's just bad policy.
The National Rifle Association and the National Shooting Sports Foundation are expected to meet with the task force tomorrow. They have said more restrictions on lawful gun ownership is a bad idea. In Washington, Sandra Endo for WVUA News.
And President Obama was not in attendance at today's meeting.